Welcome to DJ E360 World, Ariella,
Thank you for having
the
me.
DMV Slayer.
Yes, that's me.
How's your day going?
It's going great, great. Just happy to be alive. Happy to have my eyes open this morning. Thanking God every day. Yeah.
It's kind of raining though. It's raining there.
Yeah, it's still beautiful though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
as long
so
as I get to see it.
yeah, it's the time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start from the beginning. Is this your first time here?
Yes.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Maryland. That's where I started at from a young age, basically up until I was like 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, which Riverdale specifically, if you want to say cities, like Riverdale, Bowie, like back and forth a lot of places around Bright Seat Road, Landover, like really back and forth. So when I turned 17, I moved to Southeast DC, and then I was in Southeast area from 17 up until like 27.
Okay.
And I ended up moving back to Maryland. So
Okay, so what can you walk me through that early phase of your life? I'm talking about like from 0 to probably 7 or 10.
mm-hmm.
How was that environment for you? Like, did you grow up in like in the suburb or in a very drug infested area? Like, how was that
Not too.
phase?
It wasn't. I mean, times were hard, but my mom always worked. You know, she always maintained a steady job. Like, we were never really on government assistance
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. I never really saw my mom go through that. She always made sure food was on the table and clothes was on our back. It wasn't the best clothes,
Yeah.
mind you. It wasn't the best food all the time, but, you know, she would do her thing to make it happen. So I learned a lot from her when it comes to that. And she was a little selfish sometimes, you know, and I learned in the long run that you have to be selfish sometimes in order to get shit done, basically. So, yeah, it wasn't really too rough. She was super duper strict, like, if I did one thing wrong, like my TV was gone for the summer, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't wear certain shit. I couldn't do certain shit. You know what I'm saying? It was really strict and, you know, really sheltered. I had to be in the house before the lights came on, went off, came on or whatever. So, I mean, it was just a little militant household.
Okay, as far you mentioned your mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about your father?
My father actually didn't come into my life until I was like, I was with him when I was like around 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was kind of, you know, a falling out between both of my parents or whatever. So I kind of didn't see him again until I was like 13.
Okay.
And then he passed away like probably like a year or two after we started, you know, trying to gain our connection again. You know, he passed away from cancer or whatever, so God rest his soul to that. So I really didn't have a deep relationship with my father.
But as far as that experience though, how did that make you feel? You know, back in the days where, because I have my daughter myself,
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of understand the relationship between a daughter and a father.
Mm-hmm.
It's very deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Girls tend to connect more to their father and then we tend to connect to our mother.
Yeah.
So how was that influence for you?
I mean,
How
I
did that
connect, when
affect
I
you?
was around him, I really connected to him. You know what I'm saying? I really did love my dad or whatever. I know I look like him for sure. But, you know, like I said, it was just the arguing between them two that kind of kept us away from each other. But my mom always kept, you know, a guy around. So it wasn't like I never had a strong male figure around, but it wasn't always just one guy. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple guys, but it was one that was really in particular, and that's the one we were talking about earlier, who was an African guy, whatever. She was married to him for 8 years, so I still consider him my dad. You know what I'm saying? Because he taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So there was always a male role model around, even though my father wasn't fully around. So
But did you feel like having your own father there all the time?
No,
Or did that bother
never.
you at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
That never really crossed my mind because my mom was so independent. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I looked at that like we don't really need anybody to, you know what I'm saying, push us forward or give us motivation. Like we're self motivated in my family. So I never really longed for that. You know.
Okay. Well, as far as the musical influence, though, like, did anybody in your family or your uncle or anybody like was in a band, like play any instrument or?
My aunt, she sings for a choir or whatever. She's always had like a lead role in the choir position. I grew up in a choir. in church or whatever. So that's where my music came from, like as far as the singing is concerned. And the rapping just came from me looking at music videos.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where that came from. But other than that, yeah, it was a musical influence in my family.
Okay, so as far as through your schooling, right? Did you take any musical class or?
Yeah, middle school.
Okay, did you play any instrument like violin?
No, I didn't play any instruments. It was more so singing. And in high school, I was in music class too. So.
Oh, how about high school?
I was in the high school choir in the 9th grade, but then it kind of went left, and I got out of it because I was still in the church choir too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to pick up the mic?
2 years ago, in 2017.
And what motivated that?
What motivated that was I had, good jobs, had always been handed to me, but for some reason I would lose them. And I wasn't knowing why, and I had to figure out, what it really was that I loved, because I went to school for nursing, I went to school for cosmetology, you know what I'm saying? So I have a couple of different traits under my belt or whatever, but they all died, and I never had that passion to keep going. So I just tried to figure out what it was that I could do. I was actually at like a rock bottom point in my life. I didn't know what to do, actually. For one, to give myself a platform, and for two, to be able to inspire others as well. So I really brainstormed on what I wanted to do, and I said being a rapper, because from that, other things manifest, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at least something to be able to put myself on the forefront, to be like, hey, this is Ariella Effortless, this is what she does, you know what I'm saying? She does it well. So from that point, other doors were open. That's not the only thing that I want to do, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's the main thing that I'm focused on right now, until those other doors open.
Okay, as far as you talking about hitting rock bottom, would you like to share what it
yeah, I was basically in a situation where a significant other of mine was taken away from me because of the system, of course, which is totally fucked up for the black man. And he was arrested he was gone for like 2 years. So I tried to maintain our place. Our rent was really expensive or whatever, so I really couldn't do it on my own. And actually, one of his family members had ended up doing some deceitful stuff to me, and I ended up losing my place. Yeah, I ended up losing everything. And I don't know, my immediate family, I couldn't really call them and try to go to them, because it's like when we're down, we got to figure out what to do on our own in our family. You know what I'm saying? We can't really lean on each other like that. So I was out in the streets. I would go get a rental car and be driving around and not have the money to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Running with rental cars and shit like that. Like, I was really wilding out here. Like, I was taking, little wash-ups and Starbucks and stuff like that, not knowing where I wanted to go. One night somebody could say I could stay here, and then they would renege on that. You know what I'm saying? So staying in hotels and stuff. But then I found somebody who really helped me out with my housing situation, and I'm stable now. You know what I'm saying? I'm really in a good situation right now to be able to fully push myself and do this full time. So I thank God for that. But it took me probably like a year of not, knowing where I was going to be, but still I was in the studio somehow, you know what I'm saying? I was still doing shows some type of way. God was making a way for that. So I feel, and then like I said, every year I see advancement in what I'm doing. So I feel like it's, it's a good move for me to be doing what I'm doing, because it's been lucrative.
So let's talk about the artistry itself, right? Ariella, right? How did that come from?
Well, my name is Ariel, and I just, wanted something like a spicy little sexy name, so I was just like put the Ella on it. That's it. So Ariel, and then I said effortless, because, it's easy to me to rap, to write. It's easy to me. When I first started, I was busting out songs in like 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? But now, as I've advanced in my craft, I've learned to slow down and really think about what I say before I say it. And then also, I learned not to second guess myself. So that helps me out with my writing and stuff like that too. So it's just really easy for me to put words together. Like, I'm really good with wordplay and stuff like that.
So growing up, like going back to your early age, like were you into poetry or anything like that?
I was good at art.
Oh, okay.
I used to paint make paintings,
Yeah.
and I used to sell them when I
okay.
was in school. So I was making money off of paintings. I remember I got $30 one time off of
Oh,
a sunflower painting in school. So when it came to like the arts, that's where my good grades really came from.
okay.
Yeah, like science and anything artsy or really hands on.
Yeah.
I was always good with that.
Oh, okay. Cool. So when it comes to the inspiration though, where do you draw that from?
Like musically,
Yeah,
where
and
do
like
I
when you
get-
write, like where is the inspiration comes from?
It comes from influence from what I'm going through at the time, pretty much. But it also comes when I rap. I try to reach a broad audience
Okay.
by what I say. So I try to say simple, understandable stuff, but still shit that hits hard. You know what I'm saying? When I say I want people to understand basically what I'm saying. So I don't try to be, I'm lyrical, but I don't try to be so lyrical that, people are like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, I'm really neutral with my lyricy.
Okay, so what all the topics do you like to talk about? Do you like the
Sex.
S-rated,
I talk about
love?
I talk about sex, love, drugs, fake friends, sex. So I talk about it.
Yeah,
I talk
if
about a
that's
lot
your
of stuff.
demographic, nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I talk about a lot of different stuff, but I make sure I always put some type of message in my
Oh,
music. And I was just told that by someone who interviewed me not too long ago. Shout out to Xenia. She interviewed me not too long ago, and she was like, it was a message in my music. I was like, really? Okay, well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So people are telling me that it's actually a message coming across. So, and that's just experience, when I talk.
As far as the writing process though, like how do you like to how is that creative process for you? Because some people like to isolate themselves in a room, no noise at all, or some people just don't care. They can create at any time. How is that for you?
I can create at any time, but it's easier when you're isolated and like nobody's around.
Okay.
You cut your phone off. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for me to cut my phone off sometimes, but that's the best thing to do is just cut my phone off and kind of zone out and just kind of listen. I'll have my headphones on and just listen. And when I write, I have to write to a beat. I can't just
write like that.
write. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just sit there and just write something and then try to figure out how I'm going to fit the
Match
flow
it to the
into the
beat.
beat. You know what I'm saying? I have to listen to the beat and internalize the beat and make sure the words flow with the beat.
Okay. So when it comes to so you write and then go to the studio and then record, or you write in your head and then go to the studio and record?
No, I have a little setup that I record rough drafts on.
Oh, okay.
I have a MacBook and a microphone, my little pop filter or whatever. I have my little setup in the house, so I'll just sit and I'll record rough drafts, and that's how I work on my mixing and stuff like that. So I'll get like a draft mix, and then I'll make sure I memorize the words. So I'll record like a rack of songs, and then whatever songs I know that I want to push, then that's when I'll go to somebody else who I know has a little bit more experience with engineering, and get them to mix it for me, and then I'll put it out.
But as far as when you go to a regular studio, though, what do you have to have for a good song? Like, what do you have to have around you? People might have, trees, alcohol.
Oh,
Some
yeah,
people like Skittles,
Yeah, I smoke
water.
Skittles. Oh my goodness, I smoke weed.
Okay.
I'm definitely smoking weed. If I could smoke while I'm recording, I would do that.
Oh.
I just like to smoke weed. I don't have to have it. I can definitely record without, just being sober. It's nothing to record sober. I don't have to be drugged up to record. You know what I'm saying? But it is nice to smoke weed or whatever.
Well, as far as your personal experience, though, is it better to be, in a little tiny bit in the zone, or like geeked up, or just
Ooh,
nothing?
no, not geeked up. No, you can't be geeked up because you could be fucking up a lot in the booth. So, and that's money. When you fuck up, that's time. So that's more money that you gotta spend. So you gotta go in the booth ready. You can't be geeked up, y'all. Don't be getting geeked up and I know some people that probably be geeked up in the booth. You know what I'm saying? But if you gonna be geeked up at home when you recording your rough drafts. But other than that, when you in the booth, like you gotta be ready. And you can't keep stopping, and that's money when you do that. So that's why I like to record my rough drafts drafts at home, and then I'll take like maybe a week or 2 weeks and really just keep listening to the song over and over again and make sure I got my ad-libs down, make sure I got my verses down, make sure I got my chords down. And I go in the studio and I just kill it. I may make a couple of mistakes, you know what I'm saying? That's all human beings. But other than that, I would just go in the studio and kill it so I can just have a song done, a whole song in an hour. And I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'll do is I'll probably pay, because I know who I go to. He charges me $50 for the hour, and then $50 to mix and master the song. So I'll pay for 2 hours or whatever, just so I can go in and record the song, and then with the other hour that I pay for, I could sit with him and watch him do the mix. You know what I'm saying? And then that also helps the engineer with turnaround time, because when I'm gone, you know what I'm saying, he may have another client or whatever, and then my shit gets put to the back burner. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. So that's why I just pay that extra time to be able to sit there, and at least you get some type of mix together for me before I leave. So if anything, you just got small tweaks, and then that's helping the engineer at the same time too.
So do you like to have people around, or just you and the engineer?
Just me and the engineer, but I do like to have people around, like my best friend or my boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? I like to have them around to get that input, or a manager or something. But other than that, I don't want a whole rack of people in the studio with me.
Okay. So as far as role models, though, like who are you looking up to right now, as far as success? Who are you looking up to become?
Who am I looking up to become as far as success? I don't know. Little Kim is successful. Remy Ma, she's a successful businesswoman. She's really humble, and she makes her money work for her. Just like the older Nicki Minaj, I love her to death, but I'm kind of messed up with a couple of her little actions, you know, since the whole new wave of female rappers that came out. But I definitely love her. She's definitely a boss, and she has changed the game tremendously. So I look up to her. Rihanna.
Yeah, Rihanna's.
She's awesome. Awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Business minded.
Yeah, and even Kim Kardashian. A lot of people don't, fuck with the Kardashians like that.
But they're business savvy.
Yeah,
business
definitely making all of their money work for them. You know what I'm saying? Everything they do is strategic and a business move, and everything goes in cohesion with each other. So I can appreciate that. So those are, who I would look up to as far as business ethic and who I want to emulate.
Do you have any team right now?
You said, do I have a team? Yes, I do. I have a manager. And I also have people who are pretty solid that have been rocking with me since I started. You know what I'm saying? Have been giving me input and advice. I went through a couple of managers, and even though sometimes those relationships didn't work out, we still maintain a friendship. So they still give me advice as I'm going along. So if I'm ready to make a move, I can confide in one of them to let me know if that's going to be a good move or not.
Okay.
So, I have a little bit of a team around me, but it's not really a team until everybody getting paid. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, it's normal. It's the beginning.
Yeah.
It'll come. So,
and it's kind of hard to get people to rock with you in the beginning. So
yeah, it's really hard.
I keep saying over and over, I can't stress enough, just consistency. Just keep going on with what you're doing, regardless of anything. Don't let anything stop you. So, because people see that.
It feels like you have a good drive, though, because with my personal experience, what I've seen is people tend not to, most people are taking the artistry as a passion. They're not looking at it as something like it's a business or something they want to do. You see people ride for a week or two and then they'll give up. So that's the reason why people tend not to support.
It took me a while to start getting support. Like, it took me some blood, sweat, and tears to start getting support. I'm really just starting to get support now, coming up with my 3rd year. You know what I'm saying? So, and really at the end of the day, you can't care about people support you. You got to support yourself before somebody else is going to want to support you. And supporting yourself is investing. You know what I'm saying? Making sure when you come out with content is of some type of quality. You know what I'm saying? So when I first started, like, I had to step everything up. I had to step my cell phone up. You know what I'm saying? I had to do a lot of different stuff to be able to get to the point where I can put out some type of, quality content. Some type of quality. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be of the best quality, but just something the way you can put stuff together. Like iPhones have
Yeah.
iMovie and stuff like that, and you can put clips and snippets. It's a whole lot of different apps you can use or whatever. So just get a good phone.
It's
That's
true
what
though.
we need, yeah.
The technology now, you gotta have those things.
Yeah,
You're
you
not
do.
moving.
Definitely.
So when it comes to the legal side, any entertainment lawyers?
If I needed something looked at my mom was a paralegal, so
Oh,
I
okay.
could take something to her if I really needed to get it looked at. And I have some friends who, you know what I'm saying, know a little bit about law. So I'll sit down and I'll read. And I know a little bit too. So I'll definitely read over like a contract or an agreement or anything before I sign it. And if it's something that's funny, like a little loophole or something, I'll try to go get, professional advice before I look into it,
Okay.
further.
So how are you protecting your intellectual properties, the music?
I'm a member of ASCAP.
Oh, okay. That's good. So as far as in the networking and the social media, what do you have?
I have
Instagram,
YouTube.
of course.
I have Instagram. I have Twitter. I have Facebook.
Okay.
I have a website, but I'm doing a lot of stuff on my
up-to-date.
own. So I just have to design it and everything. But they still taking money out my bank account every month to host it.
Yeah.
But I need to get on that. But I do so much other stuff. Sometimes I don't have the time to be able to just sit.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and it's very tedious. So, and sometimes I make my own cover art for my music and stuff. So, it'll take me 6 hours to just make some cover art, and it's been times where I've been making that, and then it deleted out of my phone for some strange reason, some type of glitch, and then that 6 hours of work is gone. So you got to put in another.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's a lot. So that's why. I don't have my webpage fully up.
So the handle is the same across all the social media platforms?
Yeah,
Like
Ariella.Effortless. On Facebook, yeah, my rap page will just come up, not my personal Facebook. Ariel Perry is my personal Facebook.
So as far as the system you have, right, to showcase your talent, like what are you doing right now? Open mics or?
I've hosted my own showcase a couple of times where I brought other artists on and have been able to have their guests come in for free or whatever. So I do open mics still, you know what I'm saying, but with one company in particular they call Keys to the City or whatever. They really help out artists. So I've been rocking with them as far as open mics are concerned. Because I don't really like open mics like that because the venues sometimes are holes in the wall. You know what I'm saying? And I feel sometimes you advance as an artist, so you expect certain things. But I'm not below, doing an open mic. I've been paid for some shows. I've been paid for some hostings. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing a lot of different stuff at the moment.
As far as like opening for a big name artist, like, have you considered that?
If it comes to me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I definitely would, but I'm not trying to pay no large amount to open, for somebody.
It's costly.
I know it is, but sometimes I still believe that when it's true talent, you know what I'm saying, somebody looks out and somebody helps. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you got to give back, philanthropy and stuff like that. So I believe in that strongly, but when it's time to actually pay for something that I feel is of value, I will. Because there's been times where I paid for top slots and I found out that people who didn't even pay for a slot won over me in the competition. You know what I'm saying? So I just know that there's a lot of janky stuff going on with, promoters out here in the city. So you just got to be careful about what you're spending your money on.
So music costs money, of course.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
what are you doing right now to generate the cash to support the music?
I have a support system. I do a lot of different stuff. Like I said, I was doing hair or whatever. And then my guy, he works. He helps out a lot. My best friend helps out a lot. So I have some investors. I will say that people who help me out and, invest in what I got going on.
Yeah, because you need that, though.
Unless
you can afford it yourself. But it costs money. The studio time is money.
Yeah.
Everything costs money.
Yeah.
The artwork is, if you have to outsource that to somebody, they probably charge you like 50 or 100. I don't know how much. Like, everything costs money.
So that's why you try to learn how to do as much as you can on your own. Like I've definitely learned about my craft, and I definitely invest into things that help me. You know what I'm saying? Like certain stuff that you can download on your computer. That's free, and some stuff actually costs that when you want that quality look, you have to pay for it, you know what I'm saying? But when you pay that one big fee, you'll have it forever.
Yeah.
So just invest in yourself.
Let's talk about the positive stuff now. Do you believe in love?
Yeah.
And what is true love for you?
True love for me is being able to go through any rough patch with that same person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When you want to be in love with somebody, you gotta be ready to go through bullshit because I don't think no relationship is perfect. And if the relationship is perfect, then it's a matter of convenience.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's really no love or respect in a perfect relationship to me because when you have an opinion, sometimes you want to say it, and if that person always agrees with what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be an ulterior motive that why they're with you because nobody should agree to everything that a person is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not robots. So I feel like I do believe in love and just being ready to go through the bullshit. Just be prepared. Just know the bullshit. Like, even in my music, when it comes to investments, when you just know if you put $100 into some promo, you might not get that promo because they might be janky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same with love. You know what I'm saying? When you put your heart in it and you put your all in it and you don't see that same thing coming back, you know what I'm saying? There's something going on. You gotta analyze the situation and you gotta get away from it.
Okay.
Yeah. When I feel like when you can't hug and cuddle up and kiss your mate without feeling disgusted, you know what I'm saying? I think it's time to leave at that point.
Okay.
But other than that, when you can still be lovey-dovey with your mate, I feel like that's love.
Okay. But most people downplay that. Most people stay for the material stuff, and they'll go through that phase where, even though they're disgusted touching the person because of the financial part, they'll stay. But are you happy there?
Yeah.
That's questionable, right?
Yeah, that's why you can't be money hungry at all in situations, especially when it comes to love. It's been times where my guy hasn't had a job for 3 months, you know what I'm saying? And I had a job and I had to make sure that we were held down. Times when I don't have a job, you know what I'm saying? And he makes sure the car note is paid, you know what I'm saying? He makes sure the lights stay on. He makes sure rent's paid, you know what I'm saying? He makes sure phones stay on, you know what I'm saying? So it's always it's a love is a give and take thing. You got to be ready to give and you have to be ready to receive. Because sometimes us as women, we scream independent so much that when our guys do try to even do a little bit, it's not enough for us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like sometimes just relax and just let him do it. Even if you don't want it or you feel like you deserve more, still take it from him because he genuinely did what he could. You know what I'm saying? So
He's a lucky guy.
yeah. I don't know, right? Tell him again.
He's a lucky guy.
Yeah.
Some of the girls probably might give you 30 days after you lose that job and they're gone.
Now I'll give you 3 months. If you don't got a job in 3 months, I tell him.
But if you're trying though,
yeah, you can get a
should
job
have
in
it
3
fast,
months.
right?
Yeah, you gotta try. You better be busting out them applications every fucking day.
Yeah, that's true.
3 months tops. That's what you can't. If you go past 3 months, you gotta,
then you have a problem.
Yeah, we got a problem.
All right, how important do you think intimacy is in a relationship? Again, you'll be surprised how people don't think it's important.
It is important. I don't want to say that it's not important because it definitely is. Because men like to have sex so much, just hornballs.
I mean, you'll be surprised. I was watching a show yesterday where it was the guy complaining about the lady wanting too much of it.
Yeah, and I had found out my dude had a side chick a couple of years ago. Because I had got locked up for something or whatever, and I was gone for a little bit. And I already knew, you know what I'm saying, something was going to happen. But when I came home, he was like, man, I was tired of that bitch. She wanted to fuck too much. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, okay. You wanted to fuck. She wanted to fuck too much. You finally found your match. So you want to fuck me all the motherfucking time. Now she want to ride you all the time and you get sick of it. So finally you figure out that sex is not all that important. Because if I did give it to him consistently, I feel like my sex would get old and he would want to get it from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So I try to preserve the pussy a little bit. Excuse my language.
I mean,
but yeah, I try to preserve her or whatever. So he gets mad about that sometimes, but I just feel like sometimes sex is not always, especially when you goal-oriented and you trying to get somewhere with yourself, you can't. But it's just like, I don't know how men minds are.
I mean, we feel the same way about you guys. That we sometimes feels like we can understand you guys, and and what I get from women too is like you guys cannot understand us, right?
Yeah,
For
it's hard.
men, you guys might think we want sex too much, right? But if you have the amount of testosterone, right,
Mm-hmm.
we have in our blood, you have to react that way.
Right.
You have to. Look at the women bodybuilders. They
Mm-hmm.
feel exactly as men do
Really?
because they inject testosterone.
Testosterone.
They
Wow.
feel as like
So they want to have
sexual
sex all the time
all the
too.
time like a man because of the testosterone.
Wow.
And when you're what we worry about is like hotness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sexual availability. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're hot, automatically I'm attracted to you.
Right.
So if your man is desiring you, it's natural.
Yeah, it is. It is. But
Don't
sometimes it
think you're
gets
gonna get
overwhelming.
old because you guys are like banging too much, but it's
Mm-hmm.
it's that don't be hot then.
But
Get
it's
wait
just
see
like,
what's
do you
gonna
want
happen.
pity sex though? Do you want pity sex just because you my man and just because you providing? And I don't feel like having sex, but you want to have sex, so I just lay there and just let you do your thing. You know,
Then that's not great because
it's not.
that's a
That's
starfish
pity
sex. Like
sex,
it's
especially like when we first got together. It was all the damn time, and I'm just like, I want to slow down because I'm not really. Sex is fine to me, but I'm more of a mind person. Like, fuck my mind. Like, teach me something. You know what I'm saying? Before we just keep doing what we're doing, let's expand, let's build, and try to leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Before we just
but
keep
again,
doing this shit
like
all the
what you
time.
said, right? That's our existential fear, right? To
Mm-hmm.
get in a relationship where, and then at the beginning of it, everything is great. Then when it goes long, then it says stop or drops.
Yeah.
For guys, that's the reason why most guys don't want to get in a relationship because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time
It
that's
gets
what
old
happens.
and don't have no
So,
baby.
but if
Once the baby
you're not in a
comes,
relationship, like the sex is
mm-hmm.
always like great, right?
Yeah.
Or like constant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Definitely, because it's just a thrill, and it's a mind thing. It's definitely a mind thing to me.
right.
I feel like you should have a sexual cleanse in your relationships
Okay.
sometimes, where you just go without sex for a while and just see where each other minds at. You know what I'm saying, and really go after your goals, because when you're focused with somebody else, you know what I'm saying, it helps that much more with what you're trying to do.
Okay. So, are you a hopeful person?
Hmm.
And how do you keep that hope up?
Um, Through having faith.
Okay.
Just having faith. I've always believed in having faith and speaking stuff into existence. And most of the times, a lot of stuff that I speak into existence comes to pass,
Okay.
So it's just about, really being confident in your goals and what you want to do.
Okay. So, what is your greatest desire right now?
To have my music like really pushed to a huge audience,
Okay.
and to really be recognized and noticed for the work that I've been putting in thus
Okay.
far, which I know is going to take a lot more work. So, but just to be commended on what you're doing, that really helps out with
Okay.
motivation to move forward.
So, how big is loyalty for you?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's very huge for me. I don't think any friends who I've ever had can ever say I've deceived them in
Okay.
any way. And if I have, I need y'all to come to me right now and tell me how. Cause and it has to be very detailed in how I deceived you, because I've never done that to any of my like friends, current or ex.
Okay. Dating, I don't know your status right now if you're in a relationship or not, but going through that process of getting to know somebody, like how is that for you? Like what do you look for as far as the physical? Let's start with the physical attribute first. Like how do you like the guys? Like to be tall, short, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter about that, but I like guys with beards. I like dark skinned men. I used to like light skinned men, but I found out they're really deceitful.
Why everybody say that?
I don't know. It doesn't matter which light
So you
skinned
like
guy
him
it
like
is.
Tyrese, huh?
I don't know. Not so much Tyrese. I like a rugged man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I like a guy, who doesn't shave all the time. You know what I'm saying? I just like a man's man. You know what I'm saying? I really like rough guys. So,
So it's more of like
but they
it's a
can't stink
definition
though.
of
They gotta be rough, but you can't stink.
yes.
Because rough and stinky kind of go hand in hand. So, no stinky niggas, please.
Okay, so that's as far as that's a physical attribute, right?
Hmm.
So when it comes to the person as a whole, like what do you look for?
I look for somebody who's solid, a man who
Okay.
works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A man who's gonna provide. Especially if you got kids, you gotta provide for your children.
Yeah.
A man who knows how to handle a crazy ass baby mother. A man, just a man's man. Period. Like a man who knows when to be aggressive and knows when to be social, knows, you know what I'm saying, when to stop his bullshit, and knows when to be on his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's a time and place for everything.
Okay. So, what is your opinion when it comes to the dating apps that we have today? It's like, have you used any in the past, or what is your general opinion on it?
When I was younger, I was on Tag and MySpace and shit like that. But people using Facebook these days.
Yeah.
Anything is a dating app these days. Like anywhere is a dating app. Period. Instagram is a fucking dating app. Like everywhere is a dating app, and it's kind of annoying because I get DMs all the time. Like, and I post racy stuff on my page sometimes.
Yeah, I saw one last time.
Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just content because I'm comfortable with my body. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable with myself, and I know how to block off the dudes that's constantly just calling. I don't even know what be in the dude's mind when he call somebody on Facebook Messenger. Like, you don't have their number. You just call them. Like, you don't know this girl from nowhere. Like, you don't even send a message saying, hi, how are you? I looked at your page. You're dope. You know what I'm saying? You just straight up call me. Like, I don't understand that. Sometimes I'll answer the phone and cuss that motherfucker out. And then I'll block them after that. Just like, because for some strange reason, the Facebook Messenger rings for a long time.
Oh.
For a long time. Like, it's not a common ring. It just rings for a longest time, and it's super annoying. So that's where the cuss outs come from sometimes. But other than that, I'll just block them.
As far as the first date, though, what do you prefer? Coffee shop or
a
walk
date.
in the park or a
dinner date? Yeah,
a dinner date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I prefer. Like light drinks, something to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. As far as the relationship itself, right? How do you like that to be? 50-50, traditional, or you lead?
No, I never lead. No, I would prefer. For
you'll be
man to
surprised,
lead, or
though.
we both be. And that's
You'll be
not.
surprised.
That's not. I don't think that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a woman to lead. Now, for a woman to advise her man on what to do, I feel like that's perfectly fine. But if he's gonna do what he want to do, that's his business, and it's up to that woman to stay with him or not. Because at the end of the day, a man is going to do what he wants to do. No matter how much advice you give him, he's still going to do what he wants to do. Now, does he respect your advice and what you're saying and the way you say it to him? That's what's going to make him, I feel like, be more receptive to the advice that you're giving. Sometimes I know women seem to be, a bit rough and aggressive with men, you know what I'm saying? And then the men retaliate and just go to lying and shit like that. Don't want to be honest because they don't want to see her blow up, and they don't feel like getting into a heated argument. You know what I'm saying? So when a man comes to you and he's open, I feel like you shouldn't space out. No matter how pissed off it makes you, I feel like you should hold that shit and just find a different way to talk to him calmly about the situation instead of just spazzing out, because then they're not going to come to you. They're going to, you know what I'm saying, go back into their shell and not want to talk to you about anything. So that's just what I've noticed in relationships.
Okay,
so,
as far as let's talk about marriage in general. What's your opinion on it?
I only want to get married once.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get married over and over again. I feel like you should marry the person who you click with the most. I feel like you should marry your best friend, somebody who you can confide in, somebody when you don't have it, they have it. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of person I feel like you should marry, and somebody who you genuinely love, not just for convenience. You know what I'm saying? Because both of y'all jobs, y'all make, just enough money to be able to go in half and still be able to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Not just because of convenience.
Okay, what is your opinion in general, again, when it comes to prenup? Because God forbid, God willing, right? If you make it right now, multi-millionaire now, Ariella, rich boss, whatever the case might be, would you sign a prenup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, because I know how my man is.
Because you'll be surprised, most people will say, it's love.
No, it's love at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, it's a business as well, because once you get out of that marriage, they're going to come for you for spousal support because they're going to be bitter. You know what I'm saying? Especially depending on who leaves who in the mind frame of whoever. Like, I know if my man hurt me tremendously, you know what I'm saying, and then just try to leave me and think he was gonna go with another woman, hell yeah, I want your money. That's how I'm gonna go after the situation, because you're acting petty, and how you're doing it, you being sneaky, you being deceitful. So at the end of the day, I need some type of satisfaction and some compensation for you thinking that you can just fuck me over and be gone. You know what I'm saying, on some crazy shit because you want to run away because you want something new. That's not even going to, amount to what you think it is at the end of the day.
What is your biggest fear right now?
Oh, I'm actually scared of like the big fame that I feel is coming my way.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just scared. And there's certain things that I know I could be doing to propel what I'm doing, but I'm kind of still straddling the fence because I have anxiety and I get nervous. Like, even when I'm about to perform, I was talking about this yesterday, I still get nervous. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'll lack on doing certain stuff that I know could really boost me. I'll lack on putting out certain stuff that I know could probably really boost me because I'm still staying neutral, you know what I'm saying? Still being safe. So I'm really scared of the fame, and I'm scared of other people's opinions and their criticisms because I know my mouth is crazy, and I hate for somebody to say some shit and then I attack them with my mouth, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm looked at like I'm just the crazy bitch who can't control her mouth, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm afraid of in that aspect because I'm a big clapbacker. Like, I will.
Yeah.
I'll be right there with you all day long. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm on my social media all day long, so I'm waiting. So anything that bothers me, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to speak my mind on it at the end of the day. It's social media. So.
Okay, so have you ever felt jealousy, and how did you handle it?
No, I don't really. Yeah, I do get jealous. I do get jealous. If it's something like if my man's phone rings and it's a girl name or something, because he's very blatant with what he does. Like, he doesn't care. He'll save girls' numbers in his phone unconsciously or whatever, but it'll be a reason why they'll be in his phone. But I won't know who these girls are. You know what I'm saying? And then when his phone rings, it says call from Kelly or call from. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, who the fuck is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this or whatever? So I get jealous in that aspect. Like, if the phone's going to ring and it says Kelly, Shaniqua, Shaquana, or whatever, you need to answer it and have a conversation in front of me. Don't screen the call. You know what I'm saying? Because then I feel like something sneaky is going on. So I will get jealous. I won't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I will start acting funny. I won't say nothing at all, but I definitely will start acting funny.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So how about if I don't want to answer the phone simply because you and I, we were spending time and that call is not important, though?
I mean, why is she calling? That's my purpose.
But why don't you ask me, though?
Because, you should answer the phone. Take the call. Don't be rude. She has your number. Take the call. Because when my phone rings, if I don't answer it, I'm letting you know who it was. You know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10, you know who it was. You know what I'm saying? So, other than that, like, you know who my male friends are. If you have female friends, I need to know who they are. I don't got to meet them, but at least talk about them, you know what I'm saying? And let me know.
Okay. It's a valid point, though.
Yeah. Let me know what's going on. Don't be having a personal conversation with your coworker because you called out sick 3 days ago, and now you're telling her, oh, yeah, I was sick. She's asking you, are you getting better and shit on the phone? No, you can't have conversations like that. You have to. That's too personal for me. What's going on, so.
Are you a revengeful person?
Through bars. That's what I call. That's what I'm going to call my company when I finally get it off the ground. Revenge through bars, because I put shit in the music. Like, if I'm upset about something, I put it in the music to kind of vent about it, and I've kind of actually learned how to do that better and better as I advance.
So you channel that energy into your music. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people handle it differently. Some people go scream or. They'll get at you right away.
When you try to get revenge on somebody, that messes up your character. Yeah. I feel like that puts you on a low standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And that you actually have lost the battle when you try to get revenge from somebody, because that's letting them know, okay, well, game on. I got you at your weak point. You know what I'm saying? So how much further can I make you fall? That's how it is.
How do you handle anger? Do you meditate or? Do you pray?
I do go to the gym. Yes, I do pray.
Okay.
I pray to God all the time. I'm very spiritual.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, it
sometimes when
came
I'm
from the
angry, I just
choir, maybe going to church and all of that.
yeah.
Okay.
I was real heavy in the church when I was younger, so I definitely know how to pray and woosah and calm myself down in certain situations. And I don't stay mad. And I think that's just my sign. I'm a Sagittarius. So I can't stay mad for like over 10 minutes. Like I can have a heated argument with you and then 10, 20 minutes later be ready to go eat. You know what I'm saying? So I can't harbor anger because that makes me, I feel like that makes me a bad person when I try to harbor anger.
All right, let's leave the negative stuff. Let's talk positive now.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like you did great when it comes to your negative emotions. Because if you look at it, most people stay on that side too much, they tend to do stuff and they will regret in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You probably might get angry and then kill someone, or
Yeah,
be
that's a bad one.
revengeful and do something you don't want to do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It all is that's because of emotions. You react, and then the consequences come back, and then for 5 seconds you're in jail for probably 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So when people tend to control that side of themselves, they tend to do better in life.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
basically, growing up, what did your parents teach you about money in general?
Nothing really.
Yeah. So
Nothing.
where did that education come from?
I just saw how my mom like used to budget her money. I used to watch her do her budget. I used to watch her write down her budget, like her grocery list and stuff like that. So that's how I was self-taught, like from looking at what they were doing. I wasn't taught from them being like, okay, well, get this bank account, make sure you save this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do this to get that. It was never that conversation. I was just kind of visually learning. Mm-hmm.
Okay, as far as your personal education though, did you listen to any like motivational speaker or any financial advisor?
Yeah, I do.
Talker, none of some of those things, or
Yeah, no, Garvey,
no.
Garvey V or something like that.
Oh, Gary V.
Gary V, yeah,
Gary
that's his
V.
name.
Everybody know Gary V.
Yeah, he's really
I do talk to
inspirational.
him.
Yeah, he's really inspirational to me when it comes to finance. And also, it's kind of funny, but Joel Osteen,
Yeah.
he's amazing too. And he teaches a lot about finance too. So I listen. I do self-help and stuff like that all the time.
Okay. So as far as business though, like you were talking earlier, like if you happen to make it, what type of business are you planning to go into?
Definitely artist development.
Okay.
Helping other artists out, develop themselves. Like I want to do like a LLC to help people be able to gain self-confidence.
Okay.
Like I would hold like groups and stuff like that. I'm thinking about doing something like that. To be able to, teach people about etiquette and how to present themselves to a crowd. Like if you're nervous, like certain things that you could do to help with your nervousness and stuff like that. So just advocating, you know what I'm saying? I really want to help out with that too. I want to help out with a lot of stuff in the community as far as artists who, really want to push themselves but don't know how.
Oh, okay.
And teach like a lot of free ways to be able to get exposure.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of free ways to be able to grow your Instagram, your YouTube. It's a lot of tricks of the trade that I would like to teach people if I was on a larger scale and had the money to really, have the facilities to do what I want to do. So.
Okay. So when it comes to you investing though, like what do you prefer? Like open a business or invest in like real estate or the stock market? Like what's your preference?
Stock market. The stock market would be good. I had an app on my phone and I invested some money.
Thing?
No, it's called Stash. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh no.
It's it's like you bid on little stuff or whatever and you make profit off of it. So at the end of the year I could have like $1,500 off of putting $10 to a business, like a certain business within the app or whatever. So I believe in investing and into yourself heavily, into what you want to do. Like if you do makeup, if you do hair,
Yeah.
if you rap, you know what I'm saying? Invest into your videos, invest into your promotions, invest into your streams. You know what I'm saying? It's self investing is really good too.
Okay, as far as philanthropy on a bigger scale, like what is your greatest passion towards that? Like opening school for girls maybe, or build centers in the hood, or like
I'm helping out the homeless,
oh okay.
so they don't have to be begging on the streets, to have more opening up more facilities, clean facilities for homeless people to be able to come to.
Okay.
Definitely, because that's a big problem that I see in Baltimore and in DC. You know, people are out in tents sleeping. You know what I'm saying? I've had friends who have been homeless. Like I said, I've been homeless on my own. And, you know, if I just knew certain facilities were clean, I wouldn't have been scared to reach out and get help. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these places are really dirty and disease infested. You know what I'm saying? And they're not healthy, and they need more attention and more funding put into them in order, and, you know, more programs for people to get out of homelessness as well.
I mean it's crazy. Like I've heard recently, if you go to California, like
Oh, it's bad out there too. Yeah, it's real bad because it's high income out there.
Like crazy. It's homeless everywhere. People trying to make it in the entertainment business. You know, most of them are coming from outside of California. They don't have a job. You know, rent is really high.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sitting here thinking swerve, got a way to it. Tell me what's the word? Broke niggas getting curved, tapping on them pockets like a last nerve. Ripping bitches, I'm a wildebeest. Every fucking month got a new weave. Every time I see you with a new piece, y'all looking weak, I still speak. Keep your tongue in your mouth. If your words was credit, couldn't get a house. Remember when they broke? Always got opinions where they thinking end is new beginnings. When I was broken, I started winning. Now I'm back up. Couldn't take for granted all the losses I took for without believing. Yes, I'm here for a reason. This is my season. Bitches that down me committing treason, penetrating your scalp like a fucking leaving. She know my dream, know my team gleaming. Ruby red like a whole demon. Need some advice, baby, lean in. Shed some light on your life and then analyze. If I go on this bitch, is it worth my time? When that pussy get popped, is it wet as mine? Please.
We out.
Yeah.